friends, welcome back. In today's video, we will be exploring Class 9 Civics, Chapter, Working of Institutions. Here you will learn how major decisions are implemented in India through the key institutions such as the legislature, executive, and judiciary. We will also understand how these institutions work together and what makes their functioning truly democratic. So, let's dive in and understand this chapter in a simple and easy way. If you're new here, subscribe to my channel for more helpful lessons. Let's get started. How is a major policy decision taken? Government order or office memorandum. Every major decision or policy change in the government usually starts with a formal announcement. On 13 August 1990, the Government of India issued an order called an Office Memorandum. According to this order, 27% of government jobs were reserved for a new group called Socially and Educationally Backward Classes, CBSE. This reservation was in addition to the existing quotas for Scheduled Castes or SC and Scheduled Tribes or ST. Only people who belonged to the CBSE category were eligible for this benefit. Who are the decision makers here? The decision to issue the memorandum was made by the Prime Minister and the Cabinet. Since it was an important national decision, it also involved other key functionaries, the President, Prime Minister, and Parliament. The President. The President is the head of the country, India. They hold the highest official position, but mostly act on the advice of the Prime Minister and the Cabinet. The Prime Minister. The Prime Minister is the head of the government. The Prime Minister and the Cabinet make and decide most of the important policies and actions for the country. The Parliament. Parliament includes the President, Lok Sabha, and Rajya Sabha. To make or pass a law or order like a memorandum, the Prime Minister must have the support of the majority of members in the Lok Sabha. This means most members of the Lok Sabha should agree with the Prime Minister's decisions. When the office memorandum was issued in India, it caused a big debate. Some people thought it was unfair as it reduced job opportunities for those not from backward communities. Others believed it was fair as it gave equal chances to communities that had been left out of government jobs for many years. The issue was taken to the Supreme Court of India in the case called Indira Suhani and others versus Union of India. In 1992, the Supreme Court approved the government's decision and declared it valid. At the same time, Supreme Court said that well-to-do persons among the backward classes should be excluded from getting the benefit of reservation. Since then, this policy has been followed in India. Need for political institutions. You already know that political institutions are the government organizations responsible for making laws, enforcing them, and ensuring they are followed. Working with institutions is not easy because they have many rules, meetings, and procedures. This can slow down decision-making and make things complicated. Sometimes it may seem easier if one person makes all the decisions alone, but that is not how democracy works. The delays in institutions are useful because they allow more people to be involved and consulted. Institutions stop quick good decisions, but they also prevent bad decisions from being made too fast. That is why democratic governments depend on institutions. Parliament. Do you remember the role of Parliament regarding office memorandum? Parliament does not take decisions directly, but its discussions influence the government's choices. These discussions pressure the government to act in a certain way. If Parliament opposes a decision, the government cannot implement it. Why do we need the Parliament? An assembly of elected representatives is called Parliament. It has the highest political authority and represents the people. At the state level, it is called the legislature or legislative assembly. Every democracy has such an assembly, though the name may differ in different countries. Parliament exercises political authority on behalf of the people in many ways. The Parliament is the final authority for making laws in any country. The government can act only with Parliament's support. Parliament controls all government funds. The Parliament is the highest forum of discussion and debate on public issues and national policy. Two houses of Parliament. In large countries, Parliament is divided into two houses or chambers. The first house is directly elected by the people and has real power on behalf of the people. The second house is usually elected indirectly and has special roles. In India, Parliament consists of two houses. The two houses are known as the Council of States or Rajya Sabha and the House of the People or Lok Sabha. The President of India is part of Parliament but not a member of either house. Laws passed by Parliament become official only after the President approves them. As per the Constitution, the Rajya Sabha has some special powers over the states, but the Lok Sabha exercise supreme power. For an ordinary law to be made, both houses of Parliament must agree to it. However, if the two houses disagree on the law or cannot pass it together, a joint session is held. In this joint meeting, members of both houses sit together and vote. The decision made in the joint session becomes final. Lok Sabha exercises more powers in money matters. Most importantly, Lok Sabha controls the Council of Ministers. The Prime Minister and all ministers together are called the Council of Ministers. The Prime Minister must be someone who has the support of the majority in the Lok Sabha. If most Lok Sabha members lose trust in the Council of Ministers, then the Prime Minister and all the ministers must resign together. Political executive. In the government, there are many officials who handle everyday work and decisions like implementing laws and running departments. These officials together are called the executive. In a democracy, there are two types of executives who run the government: political executive and permanent executive. Political executive. These are leaders elected by the people for a limited time, like the Prime Minister, Chief Ministers, and Ministers. They make the main decisions for the country. Permanent executive or civil services. These are government officers who are appointed for long-term service, not elected. They are called civil servants. They stay in their jobs even if the government or ruling party changes. Their role is to help and support the political leaders in carrying out daily work and implementing decisions. Why is the minister more powerful than the civil servant? In a democracy, the will of the people is supreme. A minister is elected by the people, so they have the right to make decisions on behalf of the citizens. The minister is responsible to the people for the results of those decisions. Because of this, the minister makes the final decisions in their ministry. However, the minister may not be an expert in every subject. So, they take advice from experts and officers before deciding what to do. Prime Minister and Council of Ministers. The political executive includes the Prime Minister and the Council of Ministers. The Prime Minister is not elected directly by the people. The President appoints the Prime Minister. Usually, the Prime Minister is the leader of the party or group of parties that has the majority in the Lok Sabha. If no party has a clear majority, the President appoints a leader who is most likely to get support from other members. If the Prime Minister loses majority support, they must resign. After the appointment of the Prime Minister, the President appoints other ministers on the advice of the Prime Minister. These ministers are usually from the party or coalition that has the majority in the Lok Sabha. The Prime Minister can select anyone as a minister, but they should be a member of Parliament. A person who is not in Parliament can still be appointed as a minister, but they must win an election to either the Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha within 6 months. The Council of Ministers is the official name for the body that includes all the ministers. It usually has 60 to 80 ministers of different ranks, such as cabinet ministers, ministers of state with independent charge, and ministers of state. Cabinet ministers are usually top-level leaders of the ruling party or alliance. They are responsible for the major ministries of the government. The cabinet is the core group of the Council of Ministers. Ministers of state with independent charge are usually in charge of smaller ministries. They participate in cabinet meetings only when specially invited. Ministers of state are the junior ministers. They are assigned to assist cabinet ministers and the ministers of state with independent charge. Powers of the Prime Minister. As the head of the government, the Prime Minister has many powers. The Prime Minister leads all cabinet meetings. He coordinates the work of different departments. His decisions are final in case disagreements arise between departments. He exercises general supervision of different ministries. The Prime Minister assigns work to the ministers. The Prime Minister has the authority to remove ministers from their positions if they are not performing well. When the Prime Minister resigns, the entire ministry is supposed to resign. The President. The President is the head of the state. This means the President is the highest constitutional authority of India. The President has nominal powers. The President supervises the overall functioning of all the political institutions in India to achieve the objectives of the state. Election of President. The President is not elected directly by the people. To become President, a candidate must get a majority of votes from members of Parliament, MPs, and members of legislative assemblies, MLAs. Powers of President. All governmental activities take place in the name of the President. All laws and major policy decisions of the government are issued in the name of the President. All major appointments are made in the name of the President. It includes the appointment of the Chief Justice of India, the judges of the Supreme Court and the High Courts of the states, the governors of the states, the election commissioners, ambassadors to other countries, etc. All international treaties and agreements are made in the name of the President. The President is the Supreme Commander of the Defence Forces of India. The President of India usually follows the advice of the Council of Ministers for most decisions. The only decision the President can make independently is appointing the Prime Minister. The judiciary is the third political institution that interprets laws and ensures justice by protecting the Constitution and the rights of citizens. All the courts at different levels in a country put together are called the judiciary. The Indian judiciary consists of a Supreme Court for the entire nation, high courts in the states, district courts, and the courts at the local level. India has an integrated judiciary. What it means. The Supreme Court controls the judicial administration in the country. Its decisions are binding on all other courts of the country. It can take up any dispute between citizens of the country, between citizens and government, between two or more state governments, and between governments at the union and state levels. Independence of the judiciary. Independence of the judiciary means that judiciary is not under the control of the legislature or the executive. The judges do not act on the direction of the government or according to the wishes of ruling party. You already know that the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court is appointed by the President. This appointment is usually based on seniority among the judges of the Supreme Court. The judges of the Supreme Court and the High Courts are appointed by the President on the advice of the Prime Minister and in consultation with the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. Once a person is appointed as judge of the Supreme Court or the High Court, he cannot be easily removed from office. A judge can be removed only through impeachment, which requires two-thirds majority in both houses of Parliament. Powers of judiciary. The Supreme Court and the High Courts have the power to interpret the constitution of the country. The judiciary can review a law or government action. It is called judicial review. If the courts feel that any law or action of the government is against the constitution, they can declare it invalid. The Supreme Court of India has decided that Parliament cannot change the fundamental or basic principles of the Constitution. The Indian judiciary protects the fundamental rights of citizens. If government actions harm the public interest, anyone can approach the courts to seek justice. This is called public interest litigation, PIL. Dear friends, in this chapter, we explored how India's democratic system functions through the legislature, executive, and judiciary, and how important decisions are made. I hope this video has helped you understand the chapter clearly and with confidence. If you found this video helpful for your studies, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more simple and useful lessons. Thank you.